Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laurence and I make art videos whenever I can. And today I thought it would be fun to swatch all of my inks. So I put them in different categories. First here we have my acrylic inks. Then we have some China ink, which to be honest I know pretty much nothing about. Then I have these mystery inks and these mystery inks. So these inks were gifted to me a couple of years ago, and the person who had them for years. So I'm pretty sure they're not light fast or anything, but I thought it would be interesting to play around with them and at least swatch them. So if I want to use them in the future, then it's just gonna be useful to have. Before we start, I wanted to tell you about the templates I think I'm gonna use. So this is my swatch book. If you want to see a video about the swatch book in which I explain everything, how I set it up like a bullet journal and stuff, you can go watch this video that is in the corner right here. It's also going to be in the description. I am also planning on doing an update video soon, so stay tuned for that. I did some research. I watched a lot of swatching videos and I came up with a template that I think I'm going to use. So here, this is another sketchbook that I use to do like thumbnails and stuff like that. So I used it also to write down some ideas. So I wrote down what I wanted in my templates. I drew a couple of sketches for the templates and then I put them, the official version, in my swatch book. This is going to be my template. What I wanted to do was to have a section for the brush application of the inks. I'm going to try to do a gradient. Here I wanted to have a section for reactivation because I know that some inks are water soluble. Not these right here because these are acrylic inks, but the rest should be water soluble ink. So I want to see how well they reactivate once they're dried and we put some more water on top. Then I wanted to have a place to play a little bit with texture. So I wanted to put some drops of inks and use a palette knife to move it around, see what we can do. And then I wanted to have a last section, which would be wet on wet. So I plan on wetting this whole rectangle with water and then just putting some drops here and there and see how the ink spreads. That's it. So we're just gonna go to the right page in the swatch book. As you can see, I used it quite a lot, but we're still in the beginning, but I think I still have some opinions that I would like to share in an update video. So this is going to be my template. I'm going to replicate it here and then we're going to swatch. So I know that for you it's been a smooth transition, but for me it's been about 1,000 years because drawing all of these took so long. I have a lot. Yeah, it took a long time. So now we're ready to start swatching. So I was thinking I could start with these three. So these are China inks in yellow, scarlet, and cobalt blue. What is the brand? Pelican. The brand is Pelican. So I don't know this brand. I have never heard of it. Oh, waterproof. So I guess it won't reactivate. This one is going to be for the gradient. This one is going to be for the palette knife, no textures. And this one is going to be for the wet on wet. So I am going to use this dropper to pick up some color and put a couple of drops here. And then we will try to do a gradient. So I am going to put this sheet of scrap watercolor paper. It's not scrap, it's just cheap, just to cover my page right here. So I can put this color right here. So when I open it, because I don't know if it's gonna splash or anything, so I don't want it to do that. It comes with this kind of dropper thing, but it's not really a dropper. And try to do a gradient. I'm not sure how it's gonna work. I'm of course gonna write the names of the colors. So I'm trying to drag the color in towards the right and trying to add some water to create somewhat of a gradient, but this color is not too strong as we can see. That's good to know, I guess. Now let's try to do the reactivation section. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to put some ink to cover half of this rectangle here, and later once it's dried I'm going to use water to try to see if it reactivates, but as we saw earlier it says it's waterproof, so it shouldn't. But I'm still gonna try because I want to. Now let's have some fun with the palette knife. Still gonna put a couple of drops here and there. Okay, and see how we can move it around to create some texture or just movement, I guess. So this is like, it's not that useful, I think, of a test. It's just something I felt like doing, but I know like it doesn't do much. It's just fun. Okay, now we are going to try to see the dispersion. So I'm going to put some water in this whole rectangle. And I'm going to drop a little bit of ink in there. See what happens. Is it gonna move? And I was thinking I could also use this to like move it around. And I wanted just to create some lines here. Oh, one last thing I wanted to do was just drop one undiluted drop like here and just leave it to dry. So we have the 3 that we're gonna swatch here, and then I'm going to write down the names of these ones. These ones are like mystery inks. I have no idea what they are. They're probably like student grade or like something for kids. So I'm just gonna write BB and the color. Okay, let's continue. Let's go with Schlarlach or Scarlet or Écarlate. Can you tell I don't speak German? Didn't think it would be that obvious, but I guess it is. Let's maybe just give it a good shake. Look at that color, it doesn't look very pigmented. It looks like fruit punch. See? Oh my god. Let's put a drop here. Yeah, no, it's not diluted at all. It's not very impressive, but then again, I did not expect anything impressive from these inks. It's more so, like for my knowledge, I want to know which inks I have. And like if I need to use them, then I know what the options are. Also, sorry if you hear some creaking noise like this. It's my chair. It makes a lot of noise. See, again. Every time I move like a slightly bit, it is gonna do that. Okay, and we'll try the artsy stuff, I guess, with the palette knife. very artsy. Wonderful. Oh, well, it has good dispersion. That's nice. And just maybe if we can have some fun and create some lines. Here we go. So I wouldn't say it's scarlet. I would maybe call it more pink. It's kind of a reddish pink. Not too impressive. Now we're gonna try this one, cobalt blue. Okay, it looks a bit better. We're gonna try to create a gradient. So this color is a bit more pigmented. Still, I feel like it's quite diluted, but at least you get some color. You can do something with this. And now let's just do the wet on wet. This part is still very interesting because all inks and watercolors kind of spread differently. I could not explain the science behind this. If you know it, please share it in the comments. But it's fun to see the dispersion of paint. Yeah, not the best color payoff. Anyway, this is what it is. Maybe we're gonna have a better result with the BB Mystery Inks. I feel like this one does interesting results in the water. This one, it's a pretty good color. Yeah, not too bad. Now, let's try BB inks. The color is very vibrant, so that's nice. And it's a different color than this one, which is interesting. We're gonna do this side of the rectangle. That's nice. I like this color. Here we go. Let's try the red. Oh, this color is very nice. Very intense. I feel like these BB inks are very staining. Very nice. My battery died, but I finished swatching the red and I like this color much better than the previous red that we swatched. Let's swatch BB Violet, old and crusty. I have a feeling it's going to be very pigmented. The mask tone is so dark. Beautiful. Let's try to use this. Now we're just gonna move a little bit to the side so we can swatch the rest on the other page. I tried to wash my hands thoroughly and they're stained. I think they're gonna be stained for a long time, so these BB inks are no joke. Let's try the cyan color. I'm hoping it won't be as staining, or that at least we won't have as much problems. Looks like a nice color. When it's a bit more diluted, I'm sure it's gonna be really nice too. Let's do the wet on wet and the palette knife stuff, which after playing around with the palette knife technique for like these past 6 colors, you will probably agree with me that this technique is pretty much useless in this case. But it's still fun, so we'll continue doing it. But for the next, like if I have to redo this, I'm not gonna bother drawing a rectangle for this. See how it dispersed so well, wow. Okay, so cyan is done. Let's try ultramarine. It's gonna be interesting to see the difference. Let's work on our gradient. This color looks really nice. So these BB inks are very pigmented. They're very nice. I think I have maybe to get used to working with inks a bit more because they could have a good potential maybe in my sketchbook, or because I'm pretty sure they're not light fast. But maybe they could be like a good introduction to starting working with inks, which I am not opposed of doing. So we have nice dispersion too. I tried to do smaller drops so I can have a better idea of how well it dispersed, but so far these inks disperse really well. We're gonna try pale green, light green. This color is really nice. That's it for the light green. It's a very pretty green, so I'm excited to see what dark green looks like. I think it's going to be maybe a bit more on the blue side, but the mass tone is very dark. Yeah, definitely bluer. Very nice. Dispersion is very good once again. These lines are really fun to do. Now we have a couple more, only 2 in this page. So after that, we'll just have to wait for the pages to dry before we can move on to the next one. We're gonna do sanguine. I don't know if I'm pronouncing right, but it looks like a brown, but the name suggests it might be on the red side. We'll see. Oh, it's a very nice brown. It's like a burnt umber, I think. Not burnt umber. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of another thing. Well, a color that I really like, but I seem to forget the name. Very nice. I still have some blue in this brush. It's a very persistent color, it seems like. Last color in this page will be sepia. And then I think I'm gonna have to go wash my hands again. I always like a sepia color. Burnt sienna. Yes, that's what I was looking for. It looks like a burnt sienna. Let's try to create a gradient. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, so this is nice. These colors are very cool. Now we are just going to wait for them to dry, and we're going to move on to the next page. Now we're going to go for BB Black, which is our last BB ink. It's a deep black. I like that it's not too gray, which could have been the case since they are not very good quality inks. It looks like it's a black that is more on the bluish side. So a cold black, that's what I mean. And we can really see that once we dilute it. It's hard to get rid of the past colors. See, there's some purple in this transparent water layer. I just realized that I forgot I still had some mystery inks in these bottles that I think are water soluble, so we'll just do them at the end. Initially, I wanted to do all the potentially water soluble inks at the beginning and then finish with the acrylic inks, but I already wrote the names, so we're just gonna go for it. So first we have Liquitex acrylic ink in titanium white. I think there's not much left in this. And since it's white, I mean, I don't expect you to see much, and I don't think there's a point in creating a gradient. We're still gonna try it, but it's just for the principle of things. And also there's not really a point in doing this section, which would be the reactivation section, because they won't reactivate. They're acrylic inks, so they're not supposed to reactivate. That would be very disappointing if they did. And I've used them a lot. They don't reactivate. I can confirm it. But anyway, so I might just do the both acrylic inks in titanium white because I also have Amsterdam after this one. Might just skip ahead because you won't see much. And then we'll meet back at the yellows. Okay, now we have Liquitex Cadmium Yellow Light Hue. I love these acrylic inks. I use them a lot. Yeah, they're so good quality. I recently tried the Amsterdam and I love them too. But it's going to be interesting to see how they work in wet on wet, because this is a technique that I really like, and sometimes I find that with these inks it's like hit or miss. So far the Liquitex spread really well, and I don't know if you can see here, but with the Amsterdam it doesn't spread too well, but we're gonna see with the next Amsterdams that we have, see if it's only the white or if it's all of them. So now we have Cadmium Yellow Medium Azo. You didn't see this one because I forgot to move my sketchbook, but I really like this color. I find that both of these colors are very interesting to have. I like how it spreads, and here I was talking about the fact that it still spreads, but not a lot. I put a bit less water in this section than in this one, and it really spread less, so it's good to know. Now we're gonna go into the Amsterdam for Yellow Ochre, which is a color that I love in all mediums. I'm still stuck with the purple that we tried before. It's very persistent. Okay, very nice. I tried to do different shapes here. I feel like that worked. Okay, now we're gonna move the sketchbook and we're gonna continue on with our reds. Okay, now we're gonna go with Liquitex Naphthol Crimson. I have very pretty red, a bit on the cold side, I think. It's always hard to tell with reds. I feel like you need two different reds to be able to tell like which one is the cold one, which one is a warmer one. I feel like for other colors it's easier, but I don't know why. I have trouble saying that with red. I like how it spreads. Now we're gonna try Amsterdam Magenta Primary. I remember, I think it's Naphthol Crimson and Magenta Primary. They were so similar that when I swatched the two, I thought maybe it wasn't super useful to buy both of them. And I stand by that. They're different, but slightly. Like, you don't need the both of them. If you're on a budget, don't buy the both of them. I think all the reds that I have another one after this. I think all of them, they're a bit similar, I think. Maybe you've noticed also in the template that I showed you for these swatches, I used a black pen to create the outlines. And in this one, I used like a yellow ochre colored pencil. And it's just because I wanted the lines to be less obvious, so the eye would just focus on the color instead of being distracted by the outlines, which is something that I've started doing recently when I create outlines. See how this one spread differently than the others? This one is the Amsterdam, and this one is the Liquitex. And as I told you before, when I swatched the white, titanium white from Amsterdam, I thought that they didn't spread as well as the Liquitex, and we can kind of see it here too. They really like, the spread is contained, which is not a bad thing. It's not a good thing either. It's just how it behaves. It's just, it is what it is, and you can use that to your advantage or not if you don't want to, but it's good to know. Now, the last red, which is also an Amsterdam, it's Naphthol Red Deep. I have the feeling this one might be a bit warmer than the others. Like you see when we compare the two of them, now I would say that this one is warmer than this one. But maybe compared to this one, both of them are going to be cold. Who knows? But I have the feeling this one is going to be warmer. And so far too, I have the feeling that the Amsterdam paints are a bit harder to spread. Like they stain more and they tend to stay in place, which makes sense because I just said that they don't spread too much. So they don't spread to create the gradient that I'm trying to do. You have to help them out a bit. Let's see how this one behaves when we try wet on wet. Very contained. I would say that these reds are all on the cold side, slightly. Maybe this one is a bit warmer. This color, this grayish blue, is so beautiful. Yeah, it's quite contained again, so I think it's something that is proper to the Amsterdam range, and I think the color for this one tends to separate. I don't know if you see it, but so you really have to mix well. So I think maybe I didn't mix well enough because I can see some like ultramarine kind of. So we have King's Blue from Amsterdam. All of these colors are so pretty. I bought a bunch not too long ago because I wanted to play around a bit more with acrylic inks, and I don't regret it. And let's try our last color, Amsterdam Primary Cyan, which, if I remember correctly, is a very pretty color too. Oh yeah. This one is kind of surprising because it's a bit on the green side, and you don't really expect it when you see it in a bottle and when you put some on your paper. It's really when you try to dilute it a little bit to spread it on your paper, then you see the beautiful like green undertone that comes out. It's so pretty. Oh, that's nice. I'm trying to create different shapes. I like this one, it looks like an octopus. So we're gonna let this dry and do the rest tomorrow. Good morning guys, it's the next day. So we're gonna continue on with our Liquitex acrylic ink in phthalo blue, which is a really pretty color. The mass tone is super pretty. Well, my water that I put down is a bit blue. I guess I didn't wash my brush too well. Okay, now we will try Amsterdam Yellowish Green, which is a color that I love so much because it's so pretty as it is, But when you tone it down with, let's say, a little bit of burnt sienna, it's so pretty as well. Super vibrant, super luminous. Yeah, it's very pretty. I love it. At first when I got it, I don't know if you watched my latest art haul. At first I was a bit surprised about the color. I did not expect it to be like this vibrant, this like almost neon. And usually these are not colors that I use that much, but these days I've been changing my mind. And it's very beautiful in landscapes. So I feel like maybe this paint, when I put it in, I feel like there's a lot of pigment. Like the paint maybe is a bit less fluid. See, like it looks like there's a lot of pigment compared to here. So maybe that's why it doesn't spread as much. Now we're gonna try another very beautiful color from Amsterdam. It's the olive green deep. The mass tone is very dark. And the color stays so beautiful even when diluted, which is the case for all of these colors that I've tried so far, maybe except the first ones that were not very good quality. So I've been using this template for a little bit now, and what I have to say is that it took so long to create. I kind of regretted it at first, but now I really appreciate that it looks neat. I just like the look. So I think it was worth it to create something like this that took a long time. And what I was thinking I could do when everything is dried is find out the information about the pigments and the light fastness, the opacity, etc. and find a place to write it down to, because I think could be very interesting. And now, one of my favorite colors, Amsterdam Burnt Sienna. It's such a pretty color. Yeah, I love it so much. This next one is Burnt Umber from Amsterdam, which is also a super pretty color. I love my earth tones. I love how it spreads. So I think that the Liquitex acrylic ink are the ones I'm gonna choose in the future maybe, because I like how they spread. I remember that the Amsterdam ones were a little bit less expensive. I don't know if that speaks about the quality or not, maybe it's just the price. I like to have the possibility of creating these effects, which I feel like I don't have as much with the Amsterdam acrylic inks. Because in my work, I always try to create a lot of texture, especially with my abstracts that I've been doing lately. Okay, on to our last two Liquitex acrylic inks. This one is Bright Gold, which is a very pretty color. I have to say, I don't use metallics that much. See, this one doesn't spread as much. It looks a little bit like the Amsterdam in the sense that I feel like there's a lot of pigment that is heavy and that is pooling. See, like I have to move it around. Yeah, it's mica. So maybe that's why for this one, the pigments feel different. I feel like I can't really create a nice gradient. Let me just add some more, maybe. Yeah, see, it's like I move it around, but then it doesn't stay on the paper. It's very weird. I didn't expect that. And I've used this one before. It's very hard to use, but I think it could be great just to like create details or subtle patches of gold. It feels very heavy. Okay, so let's see if the silver is the same. Maybe it's because it's a really old bottle too, I don't know, because I've had them for years and years and years and years. So I still, you know, you still see like the heaviness and the thickness of the pigments. See, it doesn't spread at all. Yeah, the silver feels the same. Like I can move it around fine, but it doesn't stay on the page. So it becomes streaky and transparent. Another reason why I don't think I would use these too much. So weird. This is mica with iron oxide and titanium dioxide. Well, you know, I guess it's just not my color. So that's it for the acrylic inks. Let's move the page up a little bit already so you can see. We have 4 mystery inks plus 1 mystery black that's going to be on the other side when these pages are dried. We have mystery ink 1, 2, 3, 4, and a black. I had another one which looked like a turquoise, green, blue, something, but you can see it's all dried up. Let me add some water, just see if it reactivates or not. So it could be great if I was able to reactivate it, because this looks like a really pretty color. Oh, we'll see, maybe. Okay, so we're gonna leave it to like marinate a little bit, and we're gonna try to swatch it after the black on the other page. Maybe we'll have one more ink, maybe not, we'll see. Because I tried to reactivate the black that I had before. I had some black in this palette here. I thought that I could reactivate it with water, but it was all dried up. So I put some water on there and the water became a kind of grayish color with some particles in there, and the dried up color lifted from the palette but did not create ink. It just like there was flakes in there. That's it. So we'll see. But the water I can see so far looks dark. See? So I'm gonna put a bit more in there and then we're just gonna wait and see. Let's start with mystery ink number 1. I can see some particles in there. It's a bit disgusting. Maybe at some point I would need to strain them out. I remember that I was very surprised by these colors. Oh, see how it spreads? Amazing. So the color is very vibrant. See how it's like this vibrant yellow, and when you look at it from the bottle, it looks like an orange. Yeah, that's what I remember. I used these, I think, just once before, and I was so surprised. I didn't expect that color. And if I remember correctly, these will reactivate. Okay, that's it for the first one. It spreads so much. Oh, maybe I'm just gonna do a little bit of lines if I'm able to. Now let's try mystery number 2, which looks like a orangey red. Looks very nice. Yeah, it looks like a very deep red in here. So nice. Oh my god, the color looks amazing. Oh my god, this color is so beautiful. I love these reds. See this? I can tell right away. This is a warm red. These are my kinds of reds. I like warm colors in general. This gradient is very nice. And let's use the palette knife to create some shapes. Very flowy, very nice. Okay, that's it for mystery color number 2. I tried to put them in order, but it's hard to say exactly which color is going to be. So we have mystery color number 3 after this, which looks like maybe a cool red. We'll see. Oh, yeah, it's like a magenta, I think. Okay, my battery died, sorry about that. I was going to say at mass tone, it looks like cool red, which I guess it is. But you see once it's diluted here, it looks like a magenta. So is it a cool red? Is it a magenta? Tell me in the comments what you think. Because diluted, it definitely looks pink. Very nice. We have one mystery color left. So this one looks like a deep blue. I thought that this color would be maybe a bit darker at mass tone, but it's not really. I still have some pink in my water. It's really annoying. Maybe if I add some drops just to deepen the color a little bit. The lines you can create with this are beautiful. And let's have some fun. They stained the paper. Interesting. Okay, it's been a couple of hours already, and the mystery 5 color, I think it's reactivating well. Yeah, I think it reactivated. Let's start with 5 first, because it makes sense to end up with the darkest color, just so my water stays as clean as possible. See, I thought I had to get rid of this, but I think we can safely say that this ink reactivates really well because it was completely dried. This is a beautiful dark bluish green. The mass tone is so pretty. I'm super glad I didn't throw this one away because I was seconds away of doing that. Like I thought I had to get rid of it because it was useless. It obviously wasn't. Which is great because what a beautiful color. And it looks like it's granulating as well. I don't know if I'm just imagining things, but it really is pretty. Yeah, super pretty. I think it's my favorite. Well, good thing we kept it. And now let's finish with the black. I have used this black quite a lot in the past few weeks when I was doing my abstract paintings in my sketchbook, which I will put here. It's very nice. I love how it spreads. It's a very dark color. And it looks like it's granulating too a little bit. But then again, I don't know if I'm just seeing things. Alright guys, I think that's it. I swatched all of my inks. So I just thought maybe I could show you just like the final pages and then I'm going to show you some close-ups. So here we have my Pelican inks. I tried to find information online about light fastness. I found that they make some inks that are very light fast. It's not the same branding as the ink that I have, and I couldn't find if it's the same ink or not. But I feel like the quality isn't that good, and maybe it's just because they're very old. I don't know how old they are. So I couldn't say for sure if they are light fast, and if so, how much. So it's kind of a mystery. I'm gonna consider them as not light fast, and to be honest, I'm not even sure I'm gonna use them because they're just not very pigmented. I like this one, but the other two, especially this one, is kind of disappointing. So let's see if they reactivate. You thought I have forgotten, huh? About reactivation? Well, I did. So let's see at least if they reactivate or not. Yeah, they do. Kind of. So they're staining, but I can reactivate them. Let's see this one. This one is a bit harder to reactivate. I think I can still reactivate it a little bit, but not as much as the yellow. And let's have a look at the blue. Yeah, a slightly bit I can reactivate it, but it's, well, a little bit, not a lot. So here are my Pelikan inks. Now we have the BB inks, which are also a mystery ink that, in fact, I haven't even tried to look for them online. Let's just see if they could be light fast or not. I don't know, I have no idea. I'm gonna assume that they are not light fast, but let's see if they reactivate. This yellow does not seem to reactivate. Not really. Like I can see a slight color, but nothing much, which is weird. I thought it would reactivate. Ah, this red does though, quite easily. I'm sure this dark green will reactivate a lot because it looks like a thick layer that I put there. Yes, very, very cool. I like this color a lot. This one too. So they do reactivate, these BB inks, very easily. Okay, let's leave it at that. And what I'll do is I'm just going to put this sheet of paper in between so we can go to the other page right away. I don't want to wait. Let's do the black, the BB black. Let's still try, let's see this one, because I see that there's a lot of color right there. See if it reactivates or not. No, it doesn't. As it shouldn't. It shouldn't because it's acrylic ink. And now we have acrylic inks. Oh, and we have mystery inks. So let's do these. Let's see if mystery number 1 is going to reactivate. Yes, it does. More easily than the BB inks. And I think, as I told you before, I used the yellow one, and I think I used this one too, and they reactivated. Yeah, but it's a long time ago. It's when I was doing my 100 head challenge, which I'm going to put the video in which I used these ones, I think, here. I did a portrait that was like using only yellows and oranges, and it was so nice, a bit more on the monochromatic side. I really love this portrait. I don't do lots of portraits anymore. It's not really something I enjoy that much. So Mystery 3 did reactivate really well. And let's see, Mystery 4. This one does too. Like the color of the reactivation is not as strong as with these. Maybe it's just because it's a blue. I don't know. I don't know the science. And let's try this one. Yes, it does. See, the black doesn't reactivate that much, which is very surprising. I thought it would. Strange, very strange. Okay, so that's it. So we have the mysteries here that I cannot write anything about light fastness or any other characteristics because I have no idea what these are. We have the Liquitex and the Amsterdam acrylic inks, which I was able to find lots of information about, so I wrote everything I found here. I noticed that some of the Amsterdam acrylic inks have like weird pigments sometimes, like this one for phthalo blue. It says PB153. I don't know what this means, so if you know, please tell me. And also somewhere else, Naphthol Crimson, it says PR170 F5RK. So I don't know if it's two separate pigments or if it's a version of PR170. I don't know. If you know, please tell me. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I had a lot of fun. I hope that it motivates you to swatch your own inks or watercolors or whatever painting supplies you have. It's super interesting. It's very useful. I've used this a lot for my watercolors, which if you want to see the video about that, when I swatched all of my watercolors, I'm going to put it here. I'm doing a lot of shameless plugs today. But it's my channel, so I can do that. I'm allowed. Stay tuned for an update on this swatch book. I'm going to tell you all about what I would do different, what I liked, what I don't like, the peaks and pits of having a swatch book like this one. In the meantime, take care, and I will see you soon.